Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Beyond Grad Show. Today, I have my friend Madhan Vadlamudi. I hope I pronounced the last name
Thanks a
correctly,
lot.
Madhan. And it is a awesome pleasure of mine to have you on the show because I've been following your LinkedIn journey. You are one of the creators that I really respect because you show up with a lot of authenticity. You show up with charisma, whereas a lot of accounts kind of seem bots in a way at this point with AI and agencies and stuff like that. So I value that. Today we are going to talk about your journey as a software engineer in the US and how you started to create a content. How did you start creating content on LinkedIn and how you built a community of over 53,000 people, which is mind blowing. So we'll talk about that. And before we dive deep into it, I would love for you to give an introduction to everybody.
Thank you so much for having me on here, Varun. This is long due. We've been talking about for a while, right? Like being on your show, sharing my experiences. Uh, Always willing to do, but finally I got a chance today. And thanks a lot for your kind words. You've always been one of my big inspirations on LinkedIn. From the day one onwards, I was always going through your post, always trying to get something out of each post, honestly. And the journey was quite there. It's good. It's still, I believe, it's still starting. I'm not yet there, but yeah, it's good. Learned a lot. Connecting with a lot of people like you who taught me on the go. Yeah, happy to share my insights about how I built my LinkedIn network around 50K, something beyond that. Yeah, to start with, as you all know, it's Madhan Vadlamudi. To spell it right, some people get it right, some people don't, but I'm happy if they call me as Madhan. More than happy be there. And yeah, I came to US in 2021 to do my master's in Arizona State University, and my major was in information technology and project management. Graduated in December 2022. The funny story is like I came with my wife. We both did together our masters, and then graduated together back in December 2022, and then started working from 2023. I started in April. April that it's just I just completed 3 years last week actually. So and
Nice.
work with Triple A Insurance, CSW Insurance Group actually, and she's working with Lincare Holdings. It's a medical equipment company, and she's into health side. That's something about me. My background, I'm basically from south of India, to be precise. There's a place called, you might be knowing, Sriharkota ISRO Rocket Launching Center. So I'm just right next to it. So quite funny story about it. Let's keep it as it for now. And coming to my LinkedIn journey, I think I was active. As soon as I landed in university, people were always suggesting me to do networking. Honestly, that word itself is new to me when I came to USA. Networking back in India, we don't have a lot of things going around, right? So networking is all about like if someone comes to your college, maybe you can talk to them, get their insight. That's all. Or probably reach out to your seniors, maybe your well wishers, or maybe someone in the industry. So that's very limited number of resources, I would say. But the game is completely different in USA. You can't. People won't be reaching out to you physically. You have to be connecting with them through remotely or maybe some workshops or some way here and there. And people spread across USA. It's really difficult to reach out to a lot of people, and that's when it all started with LinkedIn actually. So I still remember the day I came here, probably when I was about to graduate, probably 6 months before I was graduating, and my friend told me that uh, you have to build your network on LinkedIn. I hardly have around somewhere around 800 to 1000 connections by the time. It's not a lot, but okay. And most of them were my friends or who are I met on college, probably not a lot, uh, but yeah, started building my network. Still remember, I think back in somewhere around uh, October or December 2022, when I was about to graduate, I saw a post on LinkedIn about uh, when you got to do networking more. Okay, I was about to graduate. I should be doing it before, but it got delayed. But it's okay. I was like, it's okay. It's better than late than never, right? So And then I started taking it seriously. I think probably you have this 150, 120 connections every weekend you can make use of, right? Like, so I used to be very intentional. I used to make sure I send connections to right people whom I'm targeting. Trust me, there was a time, literally every week, probably by Monday or Tuesday, I used to finish my 120, or I think back then it is 120 or 1. I don't remember the name. But without seeing that you have reached your max connections, I would be like, no. So I need to see that at any cost, okay, you're done for this week. Then, like, no more. I can't send connections anymore. I can follow people, but it's all about the connections, right? If I have the connections, I can text them, maybe DM them and asking my questions, right? That's where it started. And then I think by mid of, uh, by the time I started my role at CSW, I think I have around 2000 connections went to 2000. People hardly used to accept my requests. So then it moved slowly, but I never gave up. I still continued sending the request, uh, being active on LinkedIn, and then I was not posting a lot back then. I think my first post, I still remember, my first post came back in 24 February, somewhere there. Imagine, I'm building network, but I never posted anything. It's always uh, reacting, probably sharing my views on other posts, or maybe reacting. Uh, that initial thing will always be there, right? Like, you can't post because you feel like you have to be a thought leader, or maybe someone who has done something massively, then only you start posting. That's a massive blunder I did in my initial years. So which I realized down the line. But yeah, that's how it started. I think that's the initial part, Varun. And then uh, probably by 24 Feb, when I started posting, I had around 5,000 followers, something like that. It was not followers, I would say, connections actually. Every week I'm sending those requests, right? So they piled up. They piled up like good, and then somehow I got those numbers somewhere around 4,000, 5,000. Not even, I don't remember that number exactly. But yeah, I think 2024 it started. I started posting. I used to post one or two posts a week, not more than that. Little scared actually what people might assume, right? That
Yeah.
will always be there. Yeah,
So it's interesting. You shared multiple threads in there, and we are going to talk about, right.
right.
So we are going to talk about the timeline, the initial what you felt about networking and what it actually meant, and how did you proceed further. You talk about posting, you talk about the blunder of posting. By the way, we got this cool comment about somebody
Sai.
who knows Sai Prakash, who knows you. Excited to see you live. Never thought we would be from the same place. I did not get the place exactly. Which place
So,
is that?
back in India, ISRO's rocket launching center, right? Shah,
Yeah.
Sriharikota.
Oh, there's
So
an ISRO also in Mumbai where I'm based
no,
out of.
that's
Like,
probably resistant development will happen in Mumbai and Bangalore. There's a big place in Bangalore too, but the launching will happen from Sriharikota. There used to be one more place called Tumba back in Kerala, but I think it's no longer active. But most of the times it's been from ISRO Sriharikota. So I'm not from Sriharikota, but my place is like 20 kilometers. I can watch. I always make this joke actually. You guys watch flights going ahead, but I watch rockets flying.
ah,
It's visible
that
from my
is cool.
place actually. I can see whenever there is a launch, it's visible from my place. Okay, as soon
That is
as
very cool.
right, it's a good
That
start
statement
for
is
me.
also statement is also very cool. No doubt about that. By the way, I do see that some of the people are joining us live, which is
Right.
great. Anytime anybody who's joining us live has questions, that's probably the best ability for you, right? You are joining live, so ask us questions. This is the reason why I'm doing it live, so that people who are able to come in add some energy to our conversation as well. Not that I or mother need any kind of energy, but a community feel is always welcome. So if you have questions, please bring them up. Know that I will always have an idea of all the conversations that we want to have. So if I don't bring your question in immediately, I will definitely make sure it is answered before we end today. So awesome. You shared multiple threads there. Let me get to a one that just helps place ourselves. So you said you graduated in 2023,
December 2022.
December 2022,
Right.
and you initially you were just sending people connection requests and you are making sure that you hit that limit. That was your indicator that you have put in effort, which is actually massive. Not a lot of people even do that. But then you started writing when on the platform?
I think Feb 24 was my first post. I don't remember that, but somewhere around Feb 20th, 2024. Just more than
Okay.
2 years now.
So, you know what I'll tell you, which is interesting, which is you said that, oh, I should, one of the blunders I did was I thought I had to be like a expert before I start writing. And that you would have started writing sooner if you hadn't made that blunder. I just want to tell everybody watching that one thing Madan said that I want to highlight is better late than never. I started writing on the platform, I think 11 years into my engineering career in the US. So if there is any, I think there are people who've written even beyond that, like have started writing even beyond that. So there is no time than the present, right? Start writing. When you were thinking about starting to write, like what was the urge inside? Like why did you want to write? uh, let's start there. What was the urge, what was the emotions inside that said, okay, I definitely need to write a post and hit publish?
Uh, Interesting question, Varun. I was expecting this could be my first question though, so I was preparing for this. So yeah, so it's never about the urge to post there. Actually, it's all about building networks. So and the right way to be on there is always sharing your experiences, right? So you can do it through comments also, but it will get better when you start writing, right? Like it will reach to more people. So if you probably make a comment on a good post, probably the author of the post or maybe someone who's reading that conversation might go through that. But what are your chances that it will reach more people? That will happen only when start posting it. Okay. And not only that, the reason why I built my network, I'll be very blunt. Okay. I mean, I'm a student. I'm an international student here. I have my concerns about visa, right? I mean, like, so not to get there. What happens if I lose my job tomorrow? So that question is always there. That's the not just me. I think a lot of people who start their uh, networking or maybe LinkedIn journey. This might be one of the starting points. It was there from day one onwards, even today. Even today, having 53,000 people, what will happen if I lose my job tomorrow? Where do I go there? Where do I search? Where do I start? I should not be looking for outside right now. It's not going to happen because it's not. If I start chasing, I don't think I can get opportunities right away. I should be attracting. This was the idea back in 23 or 24 period. I suffered a lot during my job search. It took me 3 months' time, even after having five years of experience around. Imagine a situation where if I lose it again, it should not be. I mean, like the thought is always this only. If I lose it again, I should not be taking this much time because being on probably a F1 visa like H1, right? You won't have that flexibility, and the clock is always ticking. The pressure is immense actually. So we all knows that. But being I was there, and then I started. I started saying to myself, man, this is fine. At least okay, you have a chance now. But down the line, don't ever make this mistake. Build your network, and for that, it's always about sharing what you know. If you share, you're gonna teach what you know. At the same time, you're gonna learn from others too, right? Like the iterations will happen, and you'll be getting comments also, and then the conversations will happen over there. Honestly, when I start there, I have no idea. When I started posting, I have no idea how LinkedIn works also. Over a period of time, only after doing multiple times, I got to know, and I still remember there was a post to me. I think I've told you before also. Even after writing 700 posts on LinkedIn, I got to say that this is your post, Varun. So after writing 700 plus post, I'll tell you one thing: your manager or your colleague or employer, no one cares about you. It's you. You have to take care of your journey and your career. So that line stuck with me. And there is one more line from Sai also, right? I think there was a post I saw. You should build your network when you're not in job search. Okay, when you have the leverage. I have the leverage. I have a job now. So I have the base at least. I can play game as per my needs. I can do build my network according to my needs. But if I'm not in this space, I'll be in a lot of stress, honestly. I know people who reach out to me on LinkedIn, right? So I know what might be going through them. So all these factors contributed a lot and pushed me to start sharing. But initially, I was keeping it low, and then when I understood like what people are expecting from me, so and started sharing constantly, and then it picked up. I think I don't say it just happened overnight. Probably a lot of factors contributed. Varun.
That is interesting. You say that the main emotion or the main reason was the opportunity to build a network. And the basically what you were trying to achieve is that I don't need to be job searching the same way I used to when I was a international student, or for that matter, I am somebody who has decades of experience, and there are peers like of mine who still job search the way they did when they were starting out. Obviously, they have a bigger network and they have more connections in different companies, which is great.
Right.
But what you said is that I don't want to be job searching the same way. So I want to build a network, and building a network by writing is a great way to do that. So I have a question for you about that, which is a lot of people have that hope, but they still don't write. You did something different than a lot of those people. So give me one or two reasons why people still don't write, even knowing that they would love to build the network that you would build. And then we'll talk about how you overcame that for yourself.
Simple reason: fear of judgment. Like so, if I start, this will always be there. Like right. So I mean, not to generalize anything or maybe anything back in India. Like we always have this thing, right? Like expressing yourself, we consider it as a blunder, right? Like I mean,
Mhm.
we're not ready for that. Like, we're
Yeah,
not trained for that. Uh, and if you want to do it across a community like LinkedIn, right? You always have this fear of okay, what people might think, right? That nothing will work out until unless you come out of that feeling. Varun. That's the thing actually. See, I mean, even we all do have our fears, but at some point of time you have to overcome them and then keep it moving, right? Uh, so even till date, even if I want to hit that push publish button, right, I still have that thought, okay, what people might think. But I'll do what? I'll hit it and then I'll say, okay, let people think whatever they want because I'm not the one uh, who can control their emotions. Right? They can take. They always have a chance. If I stop thinking about it and then not doing anything, I think we wouldn't have this conversation today, right? It happened.
absolutely.
I moved out from that position and then started sharing it, and then just happened. And probably I'm an extrovert, so that also one reason. So if even if you keep a stick next to me, I can talk to that. Should not respond. I can blabber hourly. So, but yeah. So yeah, probably that also helped me. Uh, yeah.
So you said fear of judgment is one. By the way, we'll go to another one if you have one for me. But overcoming fear is like a muscle. It's like going to the gym and training the muscle.
Right.
At the beginning, if you do a chest press, you can't even do it with like a 15-pound dumbbell, right? Because the muscle is not trained. But over time, you can progressively load more and more. So the fear that you had the first time you post It's not the same as the fear that you have now that you are posting the 700 time, even though there is still some fear there. So that is excellent, right? Which is that you overcome. Anything else that kind of holds people back?
So, two factors. If you have a job, they might be thinking what my company may think if I company or what are like probably their colleagues, right, might think about it. Because for most of people, being active on LinkedIn in the sense is about they're in job search. So it need not be. People don't think that way. That is one thing actually. And for people who are not in job, who are in job search, right? So for them, it's always this question, that feeling of I haven't achieved anything. So what if if I start sharing something? Who would listen to me? Who would care about this, right? So there are only two people who have something, who don't have something, right? So in each case, they have this limitation. But irrespective of it, you have to do it. You have to build your network. Let's see, get to some numbers, okay? At least some connections, and then it compounds drastically if you start doing it. But to get to that stage, you should never worry about people. So that's the thing, Varun. And
Yeah.
so
So,
I got this opinion actually. So right from when some people want to start sharing the journey or whatever they have, right, on LinkedIn at least, they reach out to me on LinkedIn and ask me whether I can do this or not. I was like, who's stopping you? Is it me? No, just go explore. You'll get better at it. Your initial post to very bad. That's okay. If people look at my initial post, they'll start unfollowing me down the line. So that's such.
or get inspired, right? Like I used to like one YouTube feature which is very cool is that you can go to the oldest videos if you want to, and you can see like the old videos and the current videos of any creators are so different that it
Right,
can actually inspire you that you can start at any point.
right. That is true. And yeah. So these are few two points I clearly want to mention, Varun.
Those are great points. Let me ask you, how did you overcome that second reason that you said, which is a lot of times I hear this. Oh, I don't know what will happen at work. Will they feel like I am actually looking for a job, or will they tell me, "Oh, are you trying to get popular?" Or they will feel like, "Oh, if I have time to write, why don't I have time to work extra?" Or whatever the case may be. I'll share my reasoning behind that. And you mentioned that post that I had written a while back. But how did you overcome the fact that a lot of people don't write because of feeling what will people at work say or how will they feel? How did you overcome that?
For me, it's all ignorance is bliss. I don't care about a lot. So I'm not super talented like people out there. Uh, the thing about me is I keep it very consistent. I do things every single day, same things, very boring. My life is very boring, but I'm happy with that. Boring is the best, right? So, so when I started sharing, and there was this thought initially, like what people might think, but the basic nature of me is that I never really care about people's opinion as long as I'm not disrespecting or like getting into some kind of argument with them. I'm never that kind of guy, so I'll keep it very soft though. So I started sharing, and then there was a time actually. I think somewhere around December 2024, something like that. People in my company reached out to me. They are like architect level. They're like senior manager level. They asked me about, could you help me with some tips on how to get build your network? And then I was like, man, seriously, man, I look up to you guys as an inspiration. You coming after me, and then that was a great feeling, right? Like imagine the one who hired me in this current role, right? He always acknowledges my post. He always reaches give his feedback over here, and he's a manager. Okay, and think about it. If your manager is only supporting you, what else you need? And a lot of people in the company, they always uh, reach out to me like acknowledging, like sharing their feedback, and they always ask me about the tips also. Probably that also helped me, Varun. I mean, if I see back then, the dots are connecting now. So a lot of factors. Uh, there was never a negative opinion when I started sharing, but that fear you have to overcome somehow. And only way you got to do is like just keep sharing. It's okay. It's okay. And also this thing, right? People care about the metrics a lot initially because, and I'll tell you what. Okay. Even though if you have 100K followers, right, on LinkedIn, imagine a case if the post needs to be successful, for one person you have to get 1000 likes, which won't happen at all. So even 0.5%, like which is 500 likes, even that also won't be possible. The success rate on LinkedIn or probably for better engagement is 0.01, something like that. So people don't assume that if they don't get good likes or maybe good engagement, they feel like the posts are not doing well and they stop it altogether. No, that's not how it works. Out of your 100 posts, probably one or two only do well. So 90 posts will go into. They won't perform well, but it's okay. So uh, some posts will give you good feeling, right? Okay, I shared some good insights, but they didn't do well, but it's okay. So I should. There is. I always have this thing actually. Right to express, not to impress. Okay, so
Mm.
this I clearly kept in mind. Some posts don't do well. I'm okay with that. And some posts I know those are not at all good, but they go crazy. I was like, okay, fine. And
That is something you learn in this journey, is that you sometimes people will focus on what they want and not as much focus on what they need, and all of us are the same way. Like, there are a couple frameworks that I know are extremely helpful in my programs, but if I write about those frameworks, they fall flat.
right,
And I write something different and it just goes to wildfire, even though I know that it is not the best thing that will get you to your destination. But that's okay. That is content creation journey. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you also brought up that after a while, if you consistently take action, you will start having cheerleaders in your workplace. So the biggest place that you were worried about, you would actually start to get a lot of encouragement from. I'll just tell one people who are listening, because I think your experience is great in this, which is a lot of people associate their LinkedIn brand to be their company's property. It is not the company's asset, it is your asset. You have to take care of it. And if there is any question about from your workplace as to, "Oh, why are you writing?" You need to be confident and have an answer prepared, which is, "Hey, I'm doing this to start a exploration of how I can be a better communicator. I want to be a top performer for this company." That's it. No over explanation, just a short answer, and you save yourself a lot of grief. What do you think about that approach, Madan?
right. Let me add here. Okay, so I was not a really good communicator, or maybe I'm not so talkative in calls. Okay, back then. But down the line, after uh, started sharing on LinkedIn or maybe talking to a lot of people, I clearly see a difference in the way how I communicate with people or maybe leaders or even in the normal calls also, and the way how I work also changed because I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn. I learned a lot of things over there, and unknowingly I'm implementing all those things in my work, and it got better actually. Think about the odds here. Okay, you thought that you're wasting time on LinkedIn, but that's helping you get better at your workplace. What else you want, Varun? Like, can it get any better? I don't think so.
That is a great point. Do you have any distinct examples in mind?
um, Especially on Confluence pages actually, like, see, we document stuff, right? Like, so whatever things you do, I'll take one technical aspects, okay? So I was very bad actually at the documentation things, okay? But being on there, on this page, right? Initially, I was exploring a lot about how to document your things. I mean, like, so whatever you do, see, it's not about the work we always do is probably very minute part, but the way how you document it, maybe showcase it to the people, matters a lot. I was very bad at it. Honestly, I was very bad at it, but I learned a lot of frameworks from LinkedIn. I used to make note of those points. There's not a lot, but one or two from each and every post. Okay, and I started implementing it here. So that in that way, I've drafted a lot of Confluence pages, documentations, and that's so good. And then and I used to iterate also because you improve it, right? Like, so down the line when you see something useful over there, that did translated over here also. So yeah, that's how it helped me. If you want to, especially communication and documentation, these two things really help me. And uh, and connections, man. I mean, honestly, I never thought about those people exist also, and I do get connection requests from them now. And uh, now I do send connection request. Back then, the success rate, even if I send 100 connection requests a week, I hardly get probably 5 or 10 approved. Now it is around 90%. Send, approve, get approved. And I make sure I make use of that 300 character limit also. Trust me, even till today, I'll exhaust all my 150 connection requests. I have premium now. I make sure I get my 150 connection requests till today. I didn't stop it just because I have 53,000 followers. And you know this limitation, right? You can't have more than 30,000 connections. So I'll keep it very minimal connections. If I There were around 4,000 people sitting on connection requests on my lead on my head, but have to be careful because the limit is getting over. So
I understand. And let me underscore what you said. You said I am getting better at communicating and documenting. That is awesome. That is awesome because what it's telling me is that you are learning how to influence with writing, and that is what content creation on LinkedIn is you are trying to influence a behavior, influence somebody to read your post, to take action. And you can take all of those techniques that you are honing and sharpening, take them into the workplace and actually influence decision based on the work that you are doing and how you are communicating that. That's what I got from you talking about how LinkedIn writing is helping you become a better communicator and documenter at work, at your workplace. Is that what it sounds
yeah, that's
like,
right. I mean, like,
Madhan?
you stuck for a while. I was like, okay, is there something? Yeah, that's spot on, Varun. Yeah, that's what. So so if you start writing things right, you get better at your thoughts and the way how you communicate, and it's all iterations. You get better with everything, right? So yeah, spot on.
Awesome. So let's talk about the creation journey, right? And maybe I need to take a pause here and talk to you about software engineering. And when you and I hate that I'm getting
So it's okay,
disconnected,
it's
but
okay, it's
bear
fine.
with me. When you are creating content, you could have gone all out on the technical part of software engineering, which a lot of people do, and that's fair as well. I notice you do something different with your content creation. You sometimes have jokes, you sometimes have jobs that are helpful for people. Sometimes you'll write a post about job search. How are you? How did you decide what to write about? Because that is also something that can get a lot of people stuck.
So some people find the niche, or maybe they want to write about only certain things. Okay, so mine is all about a mix actually. So I don't say I'm not a jack of all, master of none, but I mix it because people should not get bored. Okay, every day morning, there was a time I think literally I've shared opportunities every day, curated first thing in the morning, and then one motivational or like some insight post, probably a couple of hours later. This pattern followed for 6 months. Imagine it, not even a single day left out, except for weekends. 2025, I think from Jan to probably June, somewhere there, pattern followed. At some point of time, I felt bored actually. Like, see, you need motivation or you need insights, but let's keep it more lively. Okay, the thought is that only. Like people do love bit of humor too. They want to know, right? Obviously, who don't love it? So that's that. I added that aspect. uh, Opportunities people need to be aware of. That is always my place actually. After connecting with so many hiring managers or maybe recruiters, senior software engineers over the years, like for past 3 years, my feed is filled with opportunities like no one can ever see. Imagine, so out of those 53,000 followers, right, I have around 18,000 connections. I think 21,000 connections. If I'm not wrong, around 8,000 people were like a mix of hiring managers, recruiters, and senior software engineers who constantly share things or maybe opportunities. I don't need to look anywhere. It's just right in front of me. So I curate them, probably spend 30 to 40 minutes because I need to make sure I'm getting it right because I need to share the right opportunities. So I don't want to share some fake jobs. Okay, that so people have that trust on me, thinking that okay, this guy is there, he shares only genuine opportunities, and I built on top of it. So I'm uh, that's out of goodwill actually. So that's one thing, and I write about feelings more, human feelings. I'm writing it more these days actually, and because you see on my LinkedIn heading also, right, human first. So your job is not what you do. You have an identity. If I lose my job or something goes out, what is your identity? It should not be a software engineer, or it should not be an architect or something. So the human first, it's always there. It should be there. That's your identity, right? Irrespective of whether you're something like not the role or not. So that was there. So I started sharing about my feelings more, and people started resonating a lot with that. That's one aspect, and I talk about healthy lifestyle a lot. So like be it fitness or maybe daily walking or reading books. I talk a lot about it, and usually one or two posts every once in a while, like at least one or two posts every week. I mix it up. I make sure I don't overdo. Also, if I do overdo, people will be like, "What this guy keep on popping up on my feed." It should not be happening a lot, right? I should not be doing that also. So I keep it. If there is something useful only, I share it, and or maybe something funny, not a lot also. Keep on sharing humor on LinkedIn. It's not. It's not. I'm not here to not doing any stand-up comedy. So once in a while, that is fine. But yeah, so I mix it up. Probably I have 5 to 6 topics. Those are my niches, and I play around with them.
Hey, you can be a comedian on LinkedIn. There is Rahul Subramaniam who writes posts. Rahul Subramaniam writes amazing posts. And then right now, my feed has like every other post is the new Samay Raina show that has come out. So you can be a comedian on LinkedIn if you want to. Let's go back and complete the circle, right? Which is you started by saying, I did this to build a network so that I don't have to job search the same way that I did in the past.
Right.
Like, if you have to job search today, talk to me about all the advantages of having had 2 years of writing, building, connecting under your belt. Like, what does that mean for you? How will your job search, whenever that comes in the future, or even if it comes, how will it be different now versus before?
If I so let's take a hypothetical case. So imagine a case where I lose my job tomorrow. Okay, I won't be applying jobs crazily through links or whatever. See, I share the job opportunities, so just to make sure they apply through them. But rather, I would, since I have already enough connections, I know whom I have to reach out. I have my templates ready already for that. So I'll reach out to those people first, give it a time, week time. I let process it if something goes wrong, because the initial week or 2 weeks is, I know, even though if we talk a lot about it, you how strong you may be, you have that initial phase of being so sad or maybe depressed for a while. Think through it, process it, and then start doing it. I'll reach out to my connections first. I have I'm not going against a wave of 300 or like 3,000 or 5,000 companies. I know I'm gonna target only 50 to 100 companies, and I've created enough connections in them who are in good positions over there, whom I can straight away reach out to. If they have something down there right away, it's okay. Or I've made good rapport with them, maybe build some good connections with them. Even if they don't have, they'll check with their peers, maybe check in their teams, and then get me that opportunity. So that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not chasing opportunities now. I'm just attracting, irrespective, even though I don't keep open to work on my profile. Imagine I do get at least 3 to 5 calls every week. Recruiters reaching out to me. Okay, even there are communication happening now, right now. So asking me to look into that job. They share the job link. I'm not the one who's asking. They are the ones who's coming to me, sharing the opportunity. So it's quite different for me now. I won't be doing the same way, same old way of applying massively. Even if I have to advise to the people who are in job search now, make a list of 50 to 100 companies. Don't go beyond that. Okay, keep it as concise as possible, but go as aggressive as possible in those companies. Okay, apply through links, it's fine, but it's always about getting that inside edge people inside, if they can vouch for you, or maybe they can provide that referral or whatever, right? That has a better edge. Even in today's comment from you also about that location thing, right? Still remember you pointed that is true. There may be 100 ways of doing job search now, but nothing gets beaten by that one point of having a good connection internally and who can refer you and push your profile to the hiring manager. That is where your sweet spot lies. And if we crack that kind of relationship, or maybe have that kind of connections of around like probably 30 to 50, it won't take more than a month to get a job, honestly. But to get to that space, it takes a lot of time and you have to play the long game. That's all.
I want to pause here because this is so important and so powerful. You have to play the long game, and you played the long game, but this is what it did. Now you have, like you said, 8,000 first connections who are either people hiring managers for software roles or recruiters. So you can reach out to them. You also have recruiters getting attracted and coming to your profile because you are somebody who's writing on the platform. What that does is that for any company, if they have somebody who has been creating for a long time and built a community, it shows that one, you have consistency, you have stamina, you have the clarity of thought to write, because it's no joke to write. And all those are credibility markers for you to get a interview and to land a job at that company. And then finally, there must be so many people, and I know this from my experience as well, that you get connection requests from for your target companies. Like I have people, I was recently helping a person get a connection into Amazon, and I didn't realize I had 60 pages of people who worked at Amazon in the US. I mean, I was shocked by that number. Now, I'm not looking for a job at Amazon, but as a software engineer, you or anybody else would be so overjoyed by having that network. Even 10 people, like if you have even 10 people who are working at that organization, it you can get a coffee chat very easily, you can get a referral very easily. So I want to take a pause and say that what you have done is the payoff. We started this episode by saying no immediate payoff, and we will talk about that, right?
Right.
That's exactly where we'll go next. So this is a good segue. Let me go there, which is, let's take the payoff of networking away. That is something that you have achieved, which is awesome. But very few people play the long game when they do not have short term gains. Now, short term gains meaning some people would want some monetization opportunity, some people would want brand partnerships, some people would want courses. I mean, I do that. I,
Right.
I do this full time
Right.
now. And for me, that was a big reason why I did not write on H1B or my OPT is because I was like, what's the point, right? I cannot really do anything with it.
Right.
But that was my blunder. How did you overcome that? How did you continue to write, even though there was not a quick payoff, especially in dollar value? What went through your mind about that?
So the question settled back to square one. No? So the
Yeah.
first thing. So when I started the journey, it was never about getting anything, any money from LinkedIn. Okay, it was never the thought. The follower count increased. I started sharing since I started sharing constantly. That is okay. But if I start thinking as in terms of it monetization stuff, right? It's not going to be the same. I'm not going to be the same person who starts sharing. I always have. Once you start seeing the money, the things will change. You always want to attract more brand partnerships. See, I'm not against that. It's their own thing, right? But I'm not into that space. I'm okay with whatever I'm making, but whatever I'm doing here, I'm building my network, and it down the line it will pay off me. I mean, irrespective whether it paid off or not. But the way when people reach out to me saying that they get benefited out of, you asked about ROIs, right? I have the
Hmm.
ROI. People reach out to me, hey, Madhan, I got a job. Madhan, because of your suggestions or maybe the calls with you, and I don't charge anything, zero, no, nothing. Never took any money, nothing. But the only question probably I'll ask them is that they have to walk if I during my talks. So it's like walk during talk. I make sure I make them walk so that they'll be attentive and they make sure they walk also for the day, physical activity. So
Smart. Very smart.
so that was there actually. That rule was there. So the ROI was always this one. Maybe help people, and someday or the other it will benefit me. Right? It is the ROI. There is no better ROI than that for me. I do get a lot of brand partnerships. DMs keep flowing. I know people who chased me clearly said no, and because it was never there actually. That thing was not there, and also being on F1 or international visas, right? It's never advisable because of the things here. I so that's why it was never the point. But yeah, because of being here, made good connections, and if I want to do it, if I go back to India, maybe I can do down the line. But that was never the plan, and I'm happy where I am right now. So not with the money part. And also, I see people with probably a decent amount of connections, maybe 5,000 or 10,000, start doing it like uh, keep the open for collapse and all their headline. I was like, okay, fine, that's okay. But man, you are in a different visa. Please be careful. And there's a lot of scrutiny happening. Get some bugs here and there, but don't jeopardize your visa status for that money. That is one thing I always suggest to them. And even with topmate also, people have to be a little careful. Okay, so with topmate they can provide the sessions and all. I know people who do that, but should not be getting any money here on immigration visas, right? So be careful with that part. That's why I was never into topmate also. I never been there, never had an account there also. People want to reach out to me, they reach out to me through DMs, and then I do Zoom sessions for them, maybe take a call here and there, and then get them whatever they require.
So basically, your thought is money was never the first motivator, and you're also in a situation where there is risk with taking money about such things. And I can totally relate to that because I was on CBT, OPT, STEM OPT, H1B. I am stuck in the EB2 green card queue, and it is very tough to monetize when you are on student visa or a non-immigrant visa. It's just extremely tough. Now, people do take some risks out there, I never felt comfortable doing that. And I wanted to show from your example that there is a different path available. Like if you don't want to take the risk, doesn't mean that you don't start the journey as well. You can start it, you can thrive in it, and it will still benefit your career. If it does not benefit your career, you will still be able to use that down the line when you're ready to monetize, when you are able to monetize. So that was one big thing I wanted to bring out with you as an example, as somebody who's written consistently for the last 2 years without an immediate monetary payoff. I want to ask a naughty question, which is not related, which won't put you in a spot. But
Sure.
as somebody who has now built a community like that, do you feel like I wish I was in a place where I could take any advantage of it? Let's say maybe you are in India and you now have 50,000. Do you wish that, ah, man, I have this following, I have built this community. I wish I was in a place where it was easier to try some unique things out.
Thoughts will always be there, and people do suggest them. But end of the day, it's your choice, right? So it was never there on the plate, and I can't. Yeah, even I want to be. I want to have something like Elon Musk also money in terms of dark money, right? So, so there is no ending for maybe expectations are in terms of money, right? So it was never there, but yeah, here and there people put the thought, yeah, you got good following. Why don't you start monitoring? I was like, no, it was never there. Uh, Honestly, never thought about it. One maybe if things go upside down, maybe then I have to think, or maybe down the line it might come into picture also. And that's I'm not ruling out. But here's the thing: two things I always want to have is trust and network. I want to build. So both are doing well. People are trusting me, and build good network too. So if for a business to grow or maybe something, right? If you want to do something, these two are the main two factors, right? You have some audience to do, and they should trust you, right? I have both of them combined together. If I want to start doing monetization, it won't take much time, but that's never the case right now, at least for now. Uh, but yeah, thoughts. People will keep it in my mind, but I was like, it's not right now. Nowhere right now,
So
at least.
I have a final couple questions before we do like a short rapid fire round. And
Yeah,
by the way, I can see in some of my stats that there are people watching live. This is a great opportunity for you to kind of join me in asking Madan questions. So if you have a question, just add it in the comment section of whichever platform you're joining us from, whether LinkedIn or YouTube. If you don't want your question to come up in the live screen, then just put anonymous when you're starting your question, and I won't bring it up, but I'll just bring up the question verbally. I want to kind of give people the flexibility. While you were doing all of this, Madan, was there ever a time where your motivation dropped? What did you do at that in those situations?
motivation dropped. No, it was never about motivation because I'm disciplined. So I know you have to be, if you want to good at something, you got to do it every single day, not in hundreds, but in thousand times. So it just became a part of routine actually. So I sometimes I tie my hands to not post actually. There were days, and my wife used to scold me why I'm spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. Yeah, at least not now. Initially, I used to say that down the line you will be proud of me. Now her people in our company will always talk about me. Madhan shared this post. I was talking to them, and then I was like, and she reaches to me asking to help some students. I was like, initially you scolded me being so much spending so much of time on LinkedIn. Now see, I told this to my friends also. You people might down the line might seem in a different way, but yeah, but right now, I may look like a joker to you. It's okay. But I know what I'm building. I know what I'm doing. And I think probably Rich Dad Poor Dad also played in that book. Robert Kiyosaki played a role. Not a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki, but that book I love a lot.
Everybody has to say that nowadays, right?
Not a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki, but yeah, that book had so the famous line of network is network. Your network is your
Yeah.
network, right? So that always there. But yeah, that's how it is.
It's very cool. I want to highlight two things you said. One is that I was disciplined, and I think you gave us an insight into how you think, which is you think in thousands and not even hundreds. So you that kind of shows that the level of discipline you have, that you're thinking about routine, doing something routinely for thousands of times. So that is exceptional. And the other one is that getting over the fact that it's okay to be a joker. It's okay to be a joker to somebody else if you know that your future version of you will look back and be proud of what you are achieving. So I think that is a very insightful nugget that you shared as well. That, like, sometimes relax and think like less of yourself, or think lightly of yourself. You don't need to be like the premier expert, which I feel a lot of people try to do, right? When they start writing on LinkedIn, it feels like, oh, they need to be like the thought leader, who's in Silicon Valley, who's on TechCrunch. No, man. I mean, just have fun with this. I don't remember my post from 3 weeks back
Right,
to then let to think that, oh, people will remember a post that you wrote. It's almost impossible. They might remember some that are very influential, like you mentioned one. I know many posts of yours that I found influential, and I would always come into the comments and type. So I think all the things that you have shared today have been exceptional. I'm going to give people the final opportunity to ask questions if there are any. We have a few people on here. Feel free to ask your questions. I'll ask you one final question. Is that, let's say somebody wants to ride on the platform, Madan, and I know you get a lot of DMs about this, and I'm sure you give them advice. I'm sure you give them really good advice, but you still don't see them write a post. Why do you think that is? And what they be doing differently?
so they get this initial excitement of I want to start sharing on LinkedIn. Probably 1 or 2 days it will be there, and then it vanishes down the line. So that initial should so that's where, right, should never be about motivation. Probably that will stay for 1 or 2 days, but if you're disciplined and consistent, you're gonna do it every single day, right?
Mm,
So train your brain first. Okay,
mm,
it's not just active on LinkedIn, for that matter, anything, right? So don't get so much excited initially, and then you within a period of time you vanishes, right? So start slow. So or maybe start with commenting first. Okay, if you're not ready sharing your thoughts, yeah, people do take opinions of AI also. So I have probably used Claude or ChatGPT, whatever, right? Give your opinion to certain post if you like something, and then start doing it. Okay, and start sharing 1 or 2 posts, one post initially, not 1 or 2 a week. Don't overdo it all. Okay, if you do it constantly, over a period of time, if you don't get any traction, you'll stop it then and there itself. This is what I always say. Start with commenting first, start sharing your opinions. Okay, or maybe start reposting other posts like with your thoughts, even if you're not ready to start sharing on your own. That gives you initial momentum, or maybe initial way of going ahead. And when you feel comfortable, you can always build on top of it, right? But over excitement is something that always kills people. I know. Keep it simple, keep it as consistent as possible, do it repeatedly, and be comfortable, as boring as possible. That's how the real life is always boring, and it is good actually if you keep it that way. Yeah, these are the few things I always say. And and one trick, I not trick one suggestion, so if you want to good at LinkedIn, start commenting more first, not about post. It's not about post, it's all about always about commenting. That's where real good connections happens, because people always acknowledge this post or maybe scroll down and then go for that. But people who understands better, they start commenting. They read post, they start commenting. That's where your real connections lies. And if you get good connections over there, you're done for the day. You're done for the done everywhere actually. So yeah.
That's a great point. I have been writing on the platform for the past 3 years, and I can look at a profile and say whether they've commented on the post frequently or not. Like, people remember people who comment regularly. That is a great way to add value to a relationship. And maybe that leads to a big creator accepting a connection request or answering a few questions via DM. Don't expect everybody to get on a call with you, but there is still many ways that you can build a relationship by commenting. So that is a great ad here, Madan. That's awesome. All right. I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. We've talking deep about LinkedIn and your journey and your motivation. I want to ask a few casual rapid fires for even me to know you, even though we are friends and I've talked to you, for me to know you better. So, first question is, what is your favorite movie?
I think two actually. Forest Gump is something I really admire a lot. One second, Varun. Forest Gump is something, and I think Tara Jamin Par. Both of them
Okay.
are good. So I see myself as Forest Gump. So stupid, so dumb, but he do it repeatedly. So if someone asks me, I'll always say Forest Gump. I
That is very cool.
actually wanted to go to that Monument Valley moment, get a picture there to get that thing sorted. Yeah.
That will be very cool. If you do end up doing that, please send a picture to me as well. I would love to see that. If you don't write a post already, if you write a post, I'll see it. But if you don't write a post on it, send it to me.
Sure.
What is your favorite cuisine when you go out to eat?
Um, I prefer Mediterranean a lot, and of course, anything at home.
Okay, nice. This
I
is the
cook a lot.
first Mediterranean I've gotten. Actually, fun fact: I studied in University of Michigan, Dearborn. Dearborn has the largest number of Middle Eastern population in the US. It is the most number of Middle Eastern people. Dearborn,
Particular
Michigan.
reason?
Uh no, I'm sure there is, and I don't know offhand what that particular reason is, but amazing Middle Eastern food. Just amazing Middle Eastern food. So if you are ever in the Detroit area, let me know and I'll
Sure,
take you to some.
absolutely.
The next one is, what is your bucket list travel destination?
Travel destination, I don't have a bucket list, but my wife always want to go to South Korea. So probably that's there. More of a sit at home, go for a walk kind of guy. I find peace at wherever I stay. Traveling is okay, but not an explorer, Dora the explorer kind of thing.
You know what? You will enjoy the national parks in the US. I don't know if you've been to many or
I've
not.
been to.
Okay. Okay, then let me ask that. Favorite national park that you've been to?
So far, so I'm in Arizona, so obviously Grand Canyon will be there. But beyond that, I think I loved Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, nice. I have yet to go there. My favorite is close to you. It's in Utah. It's Zion National Park.
Oh, okay, and that's next in the list. Okay, Utah is known for. Utah has most number of national parks, isn't it? Utah or Cali? I don't know.
I would suspect it might be Utah because I know of three already: Zion, Bryce, and Arches. And
Arches
I've been
and
to Zion
they
and
have
Bryce, and they're
Canyonlands.
beautiful.
They have few more also.
They
I've
have
been
few
to.
more. I'm sure there are few more. Okay, final question, which
Sure.
is for people watching this episode and wanting to try to start writing on LinkedIn, or maybe they are already writing and want to get better at it. Maybe let's just to look at people who want to start writing. If you can give them a challenge that they can do within 2 hours of their time on this weekend, what should be something that they should take on as a challenge to start their LinkedIn journey?
Talk about one particular issue you faced in this week at your workplace. So
Mm,
that is a good starting point, I would say, because you always see it's never about sharing your success stories. It's always people always relate to the struggles also. Okay, that's where if you want to get better something, you have to have opinions on things which are failing at your place, like to get better at it, right? So if there is one particular issue you faced at your workplace, maybe think about it, uh, uh, share your thoughts, probably use any LLM for that matter, AI tools. And if you're not comfortable writing it on your own words, and write about it. That is one good start. And trust me, it helps. And if it didn't work, I mean, not work, but since I'm giving this challenge, right, tag me in that post. I'll share my comments also.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to tag me as well. I'm happy to chime in the comments. If you feel that, okay, work might be a sensitive place that you don't want to touch, then your personal life or your career journey so far, I think
Right,
those can
right.
work as well.
At one reflection probably. So every week you have something, right? And also I made this habit of weekly writing down my weekly success story so that it's useful for me for my one-on-ones or something, right? So this is something that you guys can do. Uh, talk through what, keep a note of whatever things happened over the week. Need not be career also, even with life also. Probably a journal also. If you have the habit of writing journals or maybe a daily journal for that matter. And if you face something, maybe write about it. That is easy for you, right? Because that's happening in your life. You're not getting something out of your space. That's so, and it's always there actually. People always relate to real experiences. See, if you write stories, people can easily get to know okay whether it's fabricated one or like real life ones, right? So yeah, so that's one thing I always admire. And people always reach out to me also, like if they share if they share something, like they always share that link to me, give my feedback or maybe some good projects. More than happy to always share my thoughts. Sometimes I miss, but more or less I ask them to remind also if I don't do. But yeah, it's there. And don't worry about anyone, man. Just go and write it. It's okay. It's okay. Let it be zero likes also. Let it be no reach also. Just be there and it's fine. That's the only thing I want to say. And be happy and be healthy.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this discussion, Madan. I'm sure people who are watching live or the recording of this is going to take away a lot of the things from your journey. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you so much, Varun. It was nice talking to you, and I hope people enjoyed it. And touch base.